Ladies and gentlemen, with UFC coming in with some of the biggest pay-per-views of the year the past few months, we've had stars like Conor McGregor, we've had Nate Diaz blossom into a star now. Pay-per-views are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I want to make a list here, the top 5 biggest UFC buy rates ever of their pay-per-views. Now, the list kind of shocked me, because a pay-per-view didn't even make the list. Here's a shocker. UFC 189 didn't even make the list. UFC 189 featured Conor McGregor versus Mendes, and that was supposed to be originally Aldo versus McGregor, and then it got switched at last minute. So that could have affected that. It may have been much more, but even though it featured a co-main event, Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald, in a grueling welterweight bout, you would think it would have done a better buy rate. That surprised me. But the rest of the list didn't really surprise me, but number 1 did. But you could debate number 1 with fluctuations, estimations, etc., etc. Of course, these are estimations, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not true facts. I'm not a fucking accountant for UFC. So here we go with the top 5 UFC biggest buy rates ever. Coming in at number 5... it is UFC 193, Rousey versus Holm. And that took place November 15th, 2005 in Australia. And it was a quick, shocking bout where Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey. And this was a special card because it featured a co-main event that also was a women's title bout with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, however you pronounce her name, I apologize, versus Valerie Lecharanu. I can't pronounce her name either. Both epic fighters. Both were epic fucking matches. And for this to come in at number 5 with a total buy rate of 1.1 million, that's pretty good. Then we go on to number 4, where the WWE guy, Lesnar, faced Carwin in his big return back as champion for the fight Carwin for the interim belt that happened July 3rd, 2010 at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. And he choked him out in the second round. I remember this fight, ladies and gentlemen. This fight was great because I was a big Lesnar fan. I was a wrestling fan. I was still very young. I kind of liked wrestling at the time still, so I was kind of like a fan of Lesnar, and he would like the prank me up, so I was excited to see him come in, and this was a great match because Shane Carwin was a beast at the time, going undefeated, knocking everyone out in the first round. Oh my god! And this actually came in at number 4, like I said, with a little over 1.1 million. So it pretty much tied number 5, the Holm Rousey pay-per-view, UFC 193, but just a little bit more. Like I said, these numbers could be debatable. These lists could switch possibly if a real fucking Indian accountant sat down and was like, no, these numbers aren't wrong. These numbers aren't right. Then number 3, ladies and gentlemen, number 3 comes in at UFC 194, Aldo versus McGregor, the event we were waiting for, the event that I thought would make on the list originally at UFC 189, but that didn't even make the list. It still was an epic pay-per-view buy rate, had about a little over 800,000. And it was a great gate too, and it just set off Conor McGregor as a big fucking star. But this definitely did much better at a buy rate of 1.2 million. This came in at number 3, UFC 194, and this had the fastest KO punch I've ever seen. I don't know if it's the fastest in UFC. I think it is. But Conor McGregor defeated Jose Aldo, who was undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. Undefeated! And he knocked him out in 13 seconds. The build of this pay-per-view, everything about this was epic. It was amazing. It was 100% amazing. Now we go to number 2, UFC 196. This is what shocked me. Another McGregor pay-per-view, the latest one. It pulled in a $1.5 million buy rate at a co-main, Holm versus Tate. This was the biggest, not an upset in my opinion. I just think it was the biggest shock that a lot of people didn't expect because a lot of people were Conor fans. I'll tell you the truth, I didn't really expect it, but it was a possibility in my mind. I didn't doubt it, and it happened, and Conor took it like a fucking man. But to say that this is the number 2 biggest buy rate pay-per-view in UFC history, that says something about Conor motherfucking McGregor, ladies and gentlemen. He is a fiend for this business. He is not a fiend for this business. He is the greatest thing for this business, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here we go with number 1. UFC 100. Now, this could be debatable. This could be switched with UFC 196. There's some numbers I read saying it kind of tied. It kind of got more. It's the biggest UFC ever. Blah, blah, blah. Money-wise, I'm talking about buy rate-wise. And this is numbers according to Wikipedia. UFC 100 main evented with Lesnar versus Carwin. It had St. Pierre versus Alvarez and Henderson versus Bisping. And this whole card was pretty fucking good. And it was the UFC's kind of like super card, their 100th pay-per-view. And they really did set the bar high. It's still the number 1 pay-per-view in my opinion. And I just think this makes me look forward to UFC 200 even more. Because imagine we can get a $2 million plus buy rate. I think it's possible, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. That right there was the top 5 UFC biggest buy rates ever. If you have any discrepancies with my list, comment below, curse me out, call me a fucking I don't know anything. Listen, motherfuckers, suck my dirty dick. I don't watch that shit. I only watch that shit on Sundays right after church, right after the priest gets done blowing it. Thank you, everyone. I'm Tommy Stone. Follow me on Twitter at TheRealTune6. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and ask for more. Maybe I'll do some more UFC list. I don't know. Goodbye.